Hey guys, do y'all got one of these heaters like a Suburban, possibly even an Atwood? It no longer works, heats, has a lot of issues. Well, I've got one here, it's a Suburban. And the first thing you want to do to change these heaters out is you want to remove all the screws, and including the one in the center that goes to the exhaust. That's the intake, this is the exhaust. You want to remove them and pry this loose off the end of the pipe that is sitting in there, because it's a slip fit, and remove it to get this thing out of here. It just takes a little bit of rocking like that, and it'll work off the pipe just like so, see? And that's what you have. It's a good chance to remove that crappy mastic when you replace it. The inside of this is just what you see there. It is just a hole where there's two pipes, the exhaust and the intake pipe going to your heating unit. This one is a 34,000 BTU, and what I've got here is just a standard Suburban. Everything is pretty much the same. So what I've got in here is I have a run switch failure that's back in here in the back, and to fix this we've got another heater that came out of an RV, and we're going to remove this whole unit. The way that they remove is there's a screw here and a screw here, and that's it. There won't be anything else to remove. You have to take your gas line loose, make sure your gas is off. If you want to reuse that same valve, if your other heater has one, then you can leave that on there and make sure they're oriented the same for your gas line. Now, this one has a single point ignition. The other one I have is a dual point ignition, but all parts are interchangeable. But this one's an easy change out. We will just, now since I have that loose in the back, we'll just take these screws out. Once these are removed, there is a plug that's back in the back right here. It just unplugs from it. Just that right there. And that is going to everything. That goes to your sending wires for your thermostat, including your power right there. So get those out of the way. Make sure you don't get them crimped. If you want to, you can pull the fuse, but you don't have to. The gas is off in this situation here, so we will just move that out of the way a little bit and take the supply off. Like so. Just get her loose there. You do not need any pipe doper Teflon on these. That is a pressure fit flare, so you're fine there. The other part is here is get your screws out of the way. In some cases, you want to look to make sure they didn't put an additional strap, like a ground strap or something else on it. Otherwise, you can grab this pipe and just lift up. Like I said, once again, get all your wires out of the way and clear. Move all your stuff out of the way. You will need about 24 inches of clearance in front of this unit to pull it out. And then the heater comes out. And you'll see here, there's the two holes in the back going out right there. Now we've got the heater unit out. And sometimes I take these doors off to make more room. There's the heater unit. I'll show you the part on it that has failed, and it's a common part. And if you have one that will try to ignite but won't stay running, it's commonly this item right back here, right down there. That is the pain in the ass item on an RV's heater. So let me get a light here and I'll shine it down in here and you can see it. You see that right there? Now that has a heating strip in there that will heat up, and it is your run start, run end relay. They have different names for them. I'll put a link to a site where you can buy these. Now these fit all kinds of these heaters. This is an NT34. It fits 25s, 20s, it just almost everything these will fit, including a lot of Atwoods and even Colemans. Pretty common part, so like a fan belt. This heater's coming out. We're going to change it out for another heater while this part's being ordered, and that will be replaced later, and this heater that's in beautiful condition will be returned. The donor heater, and we have the old heater here. This one's an 84 model 34, and this one is a 90 model 34. So you can see there's NT34, NT34, and they didn't change these much. So the easiest solution is that we're going to take the little plates here for the diverters, and we're going to remove them and put them in the other one, which is pretty simple to do, so that it becomes a downflow. Just spin them into place. And then on this one here, it has two little breakouts right here and here that make this one a down flow also, that panel, to be like this one's panel over here, because the trailer this one was in is has ductwork in the floors and not in hoses or in tubes. So this is a quick change out. I will do the change out of the metal pieces here, the knockout, and I'm going to show you how quick this is going to go in. So in less than 45 minutes, including filming, I'm going to swap these two out, and then I'll do a little more information on this one and show you why the heater might run and not shut off. It might fire up and run a cycle, and then you kick it and it'll run right. Sometimes it won't run right. It's that one switch, and I'm going to put a picture of that switch right here. And I want you to look carefully at it, and it's easy to replace. And you can do just like I showed you with the screws on the back, the two screws here, and drag this thing out. It's really fast. So we're going to go from here, and we're going to get that one installed and adapted, modified to fit that one's place, and get a furnace running. All right, so we're back, and we're at 22 minutes real time, and we've got the heater out. We've got the panels exchanged, and a little different, dual ignition, dual points, I guess you'd call it, and ready to roll. Doesn't take very long, and I'm even doing this one-handed, holding this camera. So if I can do that, you can certainly do it. Get the wire for the thermostat up and out of the way. Sometimes it helps to put a little bit of something to slide on, like a piece of cardboard, because these are sharp metal edges. And watch for everything that's back there, like your gas line. In my case, I will go ahead and get my power supply and have it ready to hook it up. And as you notice, I'm going to put it on this side of that gas line, because when it is slid back, it'll be in place. And you notice the style of that, it's rounded on one end, so you can't go wrong with it. I'm going to snap that in and finish sliding it into place. So now we are there. And the next step now is I'm going to tie that exhaust together, get the screws in. I want to get the exhaust started on it and get the middle screw on it before I do this, so I can make sure it's centered in the back, and then I will put the screws in and we'll hook the gas up and fire this thing up. Let me get to that point and I'll show you the next step. And we have a nice big bulky buildup of this caulk around this, because you can see how this works out. Pretty rough on these RVs, and you got the siding, so I just overkill it. It don't hurt it. So what I got right here is I'm going to be working this back in. This is the exhaust. Make sure you get them correct. It'll have the seal gasket. That's a little gasket in there that goes around the exhaust, and you'll have to kind of work it in there, because they do cut these holes kind of random, if you ask me. They're not real accurate about getting them in there correctly. So just pop it in. You'll take your center screw for your heat, for your exhaust right here. And in my case, I'm going to add a washer to it, because there's a crack right there in it. I want to make sure that stays stout. And it's a very long screw. And get it into your heater. And don't over tighten that one, just firm it up. You'll see it squish down on here. And then your other screw is where you're going to pull down tight with, so that you have your seal made for your heater unit. And just firm them down. Don't strip your metal out, because these are typically just in metal. You want to make sure that you have a good wet seal, insect bug seal. Ain't like that, holds my bit for me. When you're done, you want to check for any missing caulk areas and go ahead and wipe your caulk in. A little messy, but done job. Okay, so we've gone from this Suburban unit here to this Suburban unit here. You can see they're quite identical, just painted a different color and a different year model. However, we're fully installed. We have our duct cut, we have all our panels replaced, and we're going to get everything sized and fit properly. Make sure it will go in with the screws, and it looks like it will. And now the test is to try the thermostat and call for heat. So we'll turn her on and turn the thermostat up. Now this is a wait unit. That means it has to wait the cycle. That's that little unit in the back I pointed at in the beginning of the video. It has to heat up to make contact. That means it's going to clear its flue. It'll kick its fan on, so the blower will come on. Following the blower coming on, there will also be an ignition, which you'll see in the window. And I'll speed the video up to get to that point. There's the blower. Right now it's blowing straight out until I put the cover back on. We've got about an 18 to 20 second time limit for the blower to clear out existing gases or heat. It also blows out the outside of the combustion chamber. That's its purpose. And there we go. Now we have heat. And this one here has been proven, has been tested, and is proven to cycle down like it's supposed to, which means the flame will go off, the fan will run about 30 seconds, blowing the heat out, and then shut down. The other one was not doing that, and that is why we replaced this one with this one. All right? Pretty simple. Do it yourself.